If you didn't go to the Louisville City game tonight, you missed out, and you may have been the only one who wasn't there. An estimated 15,000 were expected as they took on their arch rivals from FC Cincinnati. The Coopers were out in full force to support their squad, who came out firing in this one. This is in the 12th minute, and it gets through. Andrew Laban has a chip shot, but goalie Mitch Hildebrandt just gets a fingertip on it and sends it out of bounds. Just a few minutes later, LCFC at it again. Paco Craig with the header, but Hildebrandt again gets a hand on it, sends it over the net and into the Coopers. The Cincinnati fans loving it. Again, in the first half, Louisville City would get behind the defense, but look, his defender Sean Reynolds saves it not once, but twice. Unreal. These teams would play to a 0-0 final. That's 14 straight games without a loss for Louisville City.
First half, we played some really good football. I thought we needed to score. I thought we had some good chances, and I thought if we had scored, then I think it would open the game up a little bit. And when you don't take your chances like that, you leave yourself open.
City will be back in action on 4th of July at Slugger Field as they take on FC Montreal. Former U of L outfielder Corey Ray now has a new home and a whole lot more cash to go with it. The 5th overall selection in the MLB draft earlier this month officially inked his deal with the Milwaukee Brewers this morning, which includes an underslot bonus of just over $4 million. The U of L product then went downstairs at Miller Park and got a few swings in the cage. While Ray played mostly right field in college, he's likely to give center a shot once he gets his minor league assignment. And while Ray waits on his minor league assignment, his former U of L teammate is headed to North Carolina to begin his pro career. After agreeing to terms with the White Sox, Chicago has decided to send flame-throwing right-hander Zach Birdie to High-A Winston-Salem. While he worked out of the pen in college, Baseball America says they feel the former Louisville closer could be developed as a starter by the Sox.
Just coming from being a closer at Louisville, my job was to shut the door, which I thought I did a great job at, and I think I can bring that to the table here and just have the ability to get some more out of the bullpen.
After a 5-4 win on Friday, the Bats were looking to make it 2 in a row and get above 500 as they took on Rochester on the road. We pick it up in the second. Seth Mejias-Breen really gets into one and hits that one out there in the Bermuda Triangle in left center. Brendan Allen comes all the way around from first to score. Bats up early. And then the next batter is catcher Rafi Lopez. Look, he slices this one down the left field line. Mejias-Breen's going to come all the way around to score, but the bullpen would make this one close. It's 3-2 in the ninth with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Eddie Rosario is going to fly out to left. The Bats are going to win this one by a final of 3-2. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow in Rochester. And up in the big leagues, the Reds took on the Padres on Pete Rose Day. We'll have a little bit more in that in a minute. We're going to pick it up in the top of the third. A runner on third. Matt Kemp hits one softly to third. I see a trend here, but it gets the job done. Runner scores. Padres up 1-0. Then in the 5th, the score still 1-0 when the Padres pitcher Drew Pomeranz takes Brandon Finnegan deep to right and gone. You know it's bad when the opposing pitcher takes a yard. Padres shut out the Reds in this one 3-0. That's the final, but the real story was Pete Rose's speech before the game.
Does that mean it's time for me to go when the music starts playing? The hell with it. I waited 30 years.
Rose was inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame prior to the game and even tried to hit the first pitch. Rose was, of course, banned from baseball back in 1989 for betting on the game. Despite being Major League Baseball's all-time hit king, he is still not in the Hall of Fame. School's out for the summer, but football coaches from across the area went back to school today so they can keep your child safe in the fall. With the effects of concussions being such a concern on a national level, USA Football is working with Heads Up Football on a comprehensive approach to better teach and play the game from the youth level all the way to college. In addition to hands-on training, the program also features a pair of online classes for coaches, which organizer Steve Speck says could ultimately save the game that so many love.
We love this game. The game's been under attack now for a few years because of the concerns over concussions. But I can tell you this much, I don't think there's another sport that's doing more to further progress in the study of the brain and what happens when there are concussions. So I think we're at the forefront of that.
After completing the player safety coach clinic training, these coaches will oversee their league's implementation of the rules and monitor practices of the game throughout the season. That's all for sports. We'll have more news and weather after the break.